Very good. Okay. For those of you out in YouTube land, we are continuing with Dante, and we're in the Purgatorio section, and we are beginning Canto 8. Now, we did the Italian. We read Canto 8, the Italian, at the end of last week's meeting. So we're going to begin today by reading the English all the way through. And then, as is our strategy, we will go back and beginning to read smaller pieces of Canto 8 and discussing them and clarifying. So, with that being said, we are ready with John the Elder will begin the English reading of Purgatorio Canto 8.
Was now the hour that turneth back desire in those who sail the sea and melts the heart, the day they've said to their sweet friends farewell. And the new pilgrim penetrates with love, if he doth hear from far away a bell that seemeth to deplore the dying day. When I began to make of no avail my hearing and to watch one of the souls, uprisen that begged attention with its hand, it joined and lifted upward both its palms, fixing its eyes upon the Orient, as if it said to God, naught else I care for. Te lucis ante, so devoutly issued forth from its mouth, and with such dulcet notes, it made me issue forth from my own mind. And then the others, sweetly and devoutly, accompanied it through all the hymn entire, having their eyes on these supernal wheels. Here, reader, fix thine eyes well on the truth, for now indeed so subtle is the veil, surely to penetrate within is easy. Next, please.
I saw that host of kings, its supplications sung to a close, stand still, and pale and humble eyes raised to heaven as if in expectation. I saw two angels issue and descend from heaven's height, bearing two flaming swords without a point, snapped off to a stub end. Green as a leaf is at its first unfurling their robes, and green the wings that beat and blew the flowing folds back, fluttering and whirling. One landed just above me, and one flew to the other bank. Thus in the silent valley, the people were contained between the two. I could see clearly that their hair was gold, but mine eyes drew back bedazzled from their faces, defeated by more light than they could hold. Next.
From Mary's bosom, both of them have come. Sordello said, as guardians of the valley against the serpent that will come anon. Whereupon I, who knew not by what road, turned round about and closely drew myself, utterly frozen to the faithful shoulders. And once again, Sordello, now descend we, mid the grand shades, and we will speak to them. Right pleasant will it be for them to see you. Only 3 steps, I think, that I descended, and was below, and saw one who was looking only at me, as if he fain would know me. Already now the air was growing dark, but not so that between his eyes and mine it did not show what it before looked up. Towards me he moved, and I towards him did move. Noble Judge Nino, how it me delighted when I beheld thee not among the damned. Next, please.
There was no gracious greeting. We neglected before he said to me, "When did you arrive across long seas beneath this mountainside?" I told him, "Oh, by way of sad regions, I came this morning. I am still within the first life, although by this journeying I earn the other." When they heard my answer, Sordello and Judge Nemo just behind him drew back like people suddenly astonished.
Hmm.
One turned to Virgil, and the other turned and called to one who sat up there, "Up, Corrado! Come see what God out of grace has willed." Then, when he turned to me, "By that especial gratitude you owe to him who hides his primal aim, so that no human mind may find the ford to it. When you return across the wide waves, ask my own Giovanna, there where the pleas of innocence are answered, to pray for me. I do not think her mother still loves me. She gave up her white veils. Surely, poor woman, she will wish them back again. Through her, one understands so easily how brief in woman is love's fire, when not rekindled frequently by eye or touch. The serpent that assigns the Milanese their camping place will not provide for her a tomb as fair as would Galura's rooster. John.
All right. In this wise spake he, with a stamp impressed upon his aspect of that righteous zeal which measurably burneth in the heart. My greedy eyes still wandered up to heaven, still to that point where slowest are the stars, even as a wheel the nearest to its axle. And my conductor, "Son, what dost thou gaze at up there?" And I to him, "At those three torches with which this hither pole is all on fire." And he to me, "The four resplendent stars that thou sawest this morning are down yonder low, and these have mounted up to where those were." As he was speaking to himself, Sordello drew him and said, "Lo, there is our adversary," and pointed with his finger to look thither. Upon the side on which the little valley no barrier hath, a serpent was, perchance the same to which gave to Eve the bitter food. Twixt grass and flower came on the evil streak, turning at times its head about and licking its back like to a beast that smooths itself. Next, please.
I did not see, and therefore cannot say how the celestial falcons began to move, but well I saw that they were both in motion. Hearing the air cleft by their verdant wings, the serpent fled, and round the angels wheeled, up to their stations flying back alike. The shade that to the judge had near approached, when he had called, throughout that whole assault, had not a moment lost in gaze on me. So may the light that leadeth thee on high find in thine own free will as much of wax as needful is up to the highest azure. Began it, if some true intelligence of Valdim Agra or its neighbourhood, thou knowest, tell it me, who once was great there. Duncan.
Curado Malaspina was I called. I'm not the elder, but from him descended. To mine I bore the love which here refineth. Oh, said I unto him, through your domains I've never passed, but there is a dwelling throughout all Europe. But is there a dwelling throughout all Europe where they're not known? That fame which doth honor to your house proclaims its signors and proclaims its land. so that he knows of them who ne'er was there. And as I hope for heaven, I swear to you, your honored family, and not abates the glory of the purse and the sword. It is so privileged by use in nature that though a guilty head misguide the world, soul it goes right and scorns the evil way. Okay, back to the first reader.
And he, now go, for the sun shall not lie 7 times upon the pillow, which the ram with all his 4 feet covers and bestrides. Before that such a courteous opinion shall in the middle of thy head be nailed, with greater nails than of another's speech, unless the course of justice standeth still.
Huh. Well, we got some interesting material on here.
Mm.
Okay. So then we were back, maybe John, since you just had a little piece there at the end, maybe you can go ahead and begin the second reading, the smaller part that we can stop and discuss.
Was now the hour that turneth back desire, and those who sail the sea and melts the heart, the day they've said to their sweet friends farewell. And the new pilgrim penetrates with love, if he doth hear from far away a bell that seemeth to deplore the dying day. When I began to make of no avail my hearing, and to watch one of the souls uprisen that begged attention with its hand, it joined and lifted upward both its palms, fixing its eyes upon the Orient, as if it said to God, naught else I care for. Te lucis anta, so devoutly issued forth from its mouth, and with such dulcet notes, it made me issue forth from my own mind.
Okie
And I'm looking to see who this is.
Me too.
Is that Sardello?
So this is
well, it's in quotes, so, and it's not Dante.
But it's singing.
The last part, yes, I think so, the last part. But I think it's connected to Canto 7.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
yeah,
Sardello was a bard who revered Dante, sang his.
I think, excuse me, Didi, but I noticed I've looking at the notes of what's his name here, Charles Eliot Norton's translation. He has a note that seems to reflect back. That may be at the end of Canto 7. One who lowest among them is seated upon the ground, looking upward, is William the Marquis, for whom Alessandria and her war make Montferrat and Canavers mourn. And I think that refers to him. He is singing the beginning of a hymn at Compline, the last service of the day. It starts, before the close of night, we pray thee, O Creator, that through thy clemency thou be our watch and guard. So it seems to be a reference to Willem, the Marquis Willem of the canto mentioned in Canto 7.
There's no note on him in Chiardi who he is.
Marquis, he's the Marquis of Montferrat and Canaves. In a war with the Guelphs, who had risen in revolt in 1219, he was taken captive at Alessandria, and for 2 years till his death was kept in an iron cage, according to the note in this Norton translation.
Sorry,
Yeah.
John, which section are you talking about?
This is the end of Canto 7, and I'm just reading there.
Okay.
I have a different. I have another translation that I picked up from the great books by Charles Eliot Norton, who's a contemporary of Longfellow and a friend of his,
Okay.
actually. And so he mentions this, and then he has a note about William, the Marquis of Montferrat and Canavese.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
And
He was a,
T. I'm sorry.
no, I was just saying he was a Ghibelline, this guy.
And this, what he's singing, T. Lucius Ante.
Yes.
Before the
She got-
end of light, it says in my translation,
Yeah.
O Creator of all things, we beg of you your mercy to be our leader and our guard.
Right.
This is something that they say in churches compline. Does anybody know? I don't know anything about, but it's
Oh,
the
here, I found that.
This is the closing hour of prayer in the liturgical day,
Yeah,
Yeah.
before the
It's
ending of the
evening
day.
prayer.
evening
Yeah.
prayer.
Yeah, the compline hymn of Saint Ambrose for protection against evil dreams and phantoms of the night.
that's good. But it would seem to be a continuation because of the very beginning of Canto 8. It says, in that hour that turns
Mm.
seafarers' longings homewards. So it would seem to link
Mhm.
with that, wouldn't it?
Well, I think that's the gist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
It's the hour in the evening when the church bell is rung for the last prayers of the day.
Right.
mm.
And then that's the start of that Tes Louis Anchi.
Mm.
The end of that verse, Dante is reporting, T. Lucius Ante swelled from him so sweetly with such devotion and so pure a tone, my senses lost the sense of self completely.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
That's sweet. I
Yeah.
have a very curious little question here. So I can understand that travelers on land, why they would stop when the sun goes down, because it's kind of dangerous to go walking around in the dark.
It doesn't, in my translation, it doesn't say they stopped.
They are going to stop though.
Yeah.
Well, it seems that in Canto 7, we were talking somewhat about, I think, Sordello, who advises them that really they can't go any farther because of at darkness or something, because they basically would lose their way for various reasons, and I guess
Yeah,
because
but they're not the sailors. They're the people
Right.
who are.
So the reason why, okay, so this is my question. Now, if you're sailing on open sea,
Mm.
as a matter of fact, it might even be advantageous to sail at night if you're in the open sea. But if the sailing is along coastlines, I'm just working up this little thing in my head that perhaps in Dante's time, that sailing was done along coast and not very much out in the open sea.
Mm.
And if it was along a coast, then you probably do not want to sail after dark
Why
Where
do you think that?
because coasts have obstacles.
rocks?
They have,
Why do you think that this represents that?
well, 'twas now the hour that turneth back desire in those who sailed the sea.
Haven't we got the sailor here? We've got a classical scholar and we have a sailor.
Yeah.
Isn't he really just saying that sailors who otherwise might want to start their trip if they're by going to sea, uh, is the hour where they're going to basically put off their departure till the next day. They're not going to start in the evening at night. I don't know if he's saying anything more than that about, and that could be for the reasons you're saying, and probably for the reasons you're saying. But it's just like they want to wait till the daylight to basically to make their departure.
Okay, well, now let me ask Decio. Decio, what do you have anything to say about this? I mean, you
It's
actually
time.
are a sailor and you sail on small boats.
It's time to take safety, to take an harbor, no? Because in open sea we can navigate by the stars. It's easy to navigate by the stars, but
Easy to navigate by
along
the
the coast you have shallow waters, you have rocks and other dangers, no? So it's prudent to stay at home, stay at port.
Right. And if you were sailing, you would look for a port. You would look for a place to stop for the night, right?
That's correct. At the time, they used to say just in the Mediterranean. In the Mediterranean, there is open seas. You cannot see the horizon in many situations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it got calmer wherever they are, and they could think about what they're leaving, feel sad that they're going to miss their friends and loved ones.
Was now the
But
hours.
in this case, it's metaphoric. They are
Right.
they have to avoid the dangers of the night, so they are fine for shelter, trying to find shelter
Or so it's
in the night. They are in the end of the anti-purgatorio.
Mm-hmm.
who's advising them?
I think Sordello.
All right.
Let's see.
Is the narrator? We don't know who is the narrator here. No?
I think this is Dante.
Is it?
Is it?
I wouldn't think so.
But there's no quotes or anything.
I've got a
He's
little quote
this is
online.
this is the author Dante telling the story, not the character Dante speaking.
As a
They're
narrator. You're just as a
yeah,
narrator.
yeah.
He makes a reference at line was it 21 or so to say, "Here, reader, sharpen well thine eyes to the truth, for surely the veil is now indeed so thin," and so forth.
Dear reader. Yeah. Mm.
Hmm.
Where's Barley? Where's one?
It's like it's Dante thinking, according to Ciardi,
Uh-huh.
and coming up in a couple verses, I saw the host of kings. So now Dante is narrating his own story because it's not in quotes.
All right. Hmm.
Okay.
Shall we go on?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
My senses lost the sense of self completely. Then all the others with a golden peal joined in the hymn and sang it to the end. their eyes devoutly raised to heaven's wheel. Reader, if you seek truth, sharpen your eyes, for here the veil of allegory thins and may be pierced by any man who tries. I saw that host of kings, and those the negligent rulers, its supplications sung to a close, stand still and pale and humble, eyes raised to heaven as if in expectation. I saw two angels issue and descend from heaven's height, bearing two flaming swords without a point, snipped off to a stub end. Green as a leaf is at its first unfurling their robes, and green the wings that beat and blew the flowing folds back, fluttering and whirling. One landed just above me, and one flew to the other bank. Thus, in the silent valley, the people were contained between the two. I could see clearly that their hair was gold, but my eyes drew back, bedazzled from their faces, defeated by more light than they could hold. Maybe when you stand that, maybe someone could go on to the quote from Sardello. That's what I have.
Okay, but let's spend a little bit of time here.
Okay.
Sorry, what did you say on Dee? What did you say on line 22? I saw that company of noble.
I saw that host of kings, and those are the negligent rulers are in that anti-purgatory level, the flowering valley.
I think he's referring back to those kings that were mentioned in Canto 7 again.
Yeah.
Because they're starting gathered there.
Yeah, they're there in 7, right?
No, but my translation says, I saw that company of noble spirits, which is interesting.
And mine says, I saw that army of the gentle
born.
Yeah, interesting. And what does the Italian say?
Esercito Gentile, which there's no mention of kings. So army gentile, however you want to translate that, I guess. Ours has gentle born, and I think yours had noble.
Noble spirits I had. But I'm in who am I in?
And she already has them being the negligent rulers.
No, I
The
doesn't.
negligent rulers?
Negligent.
That's quite a difference.
Yeah.
But I
Quite
have
a huge difference.
I have a company of noble spirits, silent and looking upward, pale and humble, as if which is
it's humble here too.
Oh, humble. Oh, have you got humble? Oh,
I think time-wise, this is one of the unique things in the sense that they're not looking backwards and they're not looking forwards. They're kind of where they are in time.
I guess I'd like to just share a kind of an insight that just occurred to me that, especially with the reading of what's coming, I don't want to anticipate the discussion, but jump ahead of discussion about the serpent and so forth. But it seems that, I guess, to place the context here, if they're in the antechamber of purgatory and they have these angels coming to guard, it's almost as if to suggest that against this serpent that these people are still kind of at risk, that they could be coming seized back by Satan and dragged back to hell.
yeah, good point.
Yeah. Sure.
But if you are in the purgatory, you are safe.
I think so, but they're not there yet.
But they're getting protected so they can make it.
Yeah, they've got some protection, exactly. But there's still a controversy or that battle over their souls.
Yeah.
Right, right. Yeah.
But and they're an anti. What? And I don't know.
I don't get it. Why does the serpent come every night and never get anyone? And the serpent was in the Garden of Eden.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just suggested later on here, and that's he's implying. I don't know. I'm not
Well,
sure.
God
We're going to find
wants,
out, maybe.
Yeah.
God expects these souls to repent,
Yeah.
and maybe the serpent will somehow convince them that they were okay, that they didn't do anything wrong. Maybe that's what's um,
I mean, the
why
angels.
this.
I mean, the angels are there to assure them that uh,
But the serpent was coming to tempt them to think that for some strange reason.
okay, maybe.
Well,
Okay.
maybe remind him of what their business is now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, let me read Hollander's notes. This
Mm-hmm.
is on lines 25 through 30.
Okay.
Most of the early commentators, following their natural inclination, allegorize the meaning of the two swords, often as God's justice and mercy, but Pietro di Dante turns to the Bible for their source and presents a more interesting analysis. Yet it would only be with Lombardi that a later commentator turns to this most likely source, Genesis 3:24, blah, blah, blah. Cherubim at the east of the Garden of Eden, along with the flaming sword to keep sinful humans from the tree of life. Dante's redoing of the scene is careful and meaningful. The swords have no points because they do not need to do any harm, since the enemy has been defeated by Christ and need no longer be feared by those having faith in Christ. They are aflame with God's love for humanity, which has reversed the exclusionary rule of law in Genesis and reopened the garden with its tree of eternal life.
Mhm.
Angels are green of wing and vestment because they give expression to the hope for salvation brought by Christ. And then it says some other things, but I think that's sufficient.
Is this a recent commentator?
Not too recent.
Is it a
Doesn't put a date on Pietro di Dante.
Pietro di Dante?
But I mean, my tendency is to say that the serpent comes every night to remind them of how lucky they are,
Okay,
that they have escaped
sure.
through the mercy of Christ, and they are about ready to enter purgatory.
Hmm.
But the serpent is the devil.
Serpent is the devil, right? But there's nothing. They got a hard climb ahead of themselves, so it doesn't hurt to remind them that they've made it, and that the serpent now is a tourist attraction and not a threat.
He's
Yeah.
he's
Yeah, 'cause-
trying.
Yeah, because Sordello explains this to him.
Okay.
So they know what's going to happen.
Right. That comes next. Who's next?
Yeah. No, but I'm just like, how could it be a lesson to them if they already know what's going to happen?
Well, this comes right up in the next when Sardello starts to speak, I think.
Yeah. Well, let me just respond to Anne just briefly. Well, and as we know, a lot of much of what we read so far in Purgatorio, people are kind of lollygagging along. an expression which simply means that instead of paying attention to the business at hand, they're more interested in talking to each other about the past, and kind of resting by the roadside, so to speak. So, maybe they just need to be a little encouragement.
And
That's right.
it's the music, the hymn put them in a holy frame of mind, and the snake wants to get them interested in ego, probably their own
Mm.
And why did they
self-justification.
why does he describe them with the blonde head? Is there significance in that?
That's a good question.
34.
Well, that Genesis, it seems like it's about forgiveness, God's forgiveness. What Duncan read. And
he could be
Dante
I
probably
suppose he could be
believed.
alluding to that, to the kind of paintings and so of the art of that time, which, as we've probably seen many of these, medieval paintings and much like after this, angels and Christ and many people from the Bible are all painted as being blonde, blue-eyed, and white. So I mean, it could be that. That's the kind of references how they imagined angels as being, like white little babies or cherubims or whatever. Sometimes as they're painted,
Mm.
blonde.
I think it might be that, I'm just reading lines 31, 32, and 33. One just above us came to take his station, and one descended to the opposite bank, so that the people were contained between them. So maybe it's that they know that God is looking after them and they will be all saved.
Sure. No.
Maybe.
Yeah. Sign of God's favor. Yes.
Maybe there still is somehow a little bit of temptation left.
So I can
And,
resist everything but temptation.
so they're getting a little bit of support.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Shall we
Interesting.
continue reading?
Yes.
Yep.
Shall continue reading, and I do not know why the angels are blonde.
This is my guess. I don't know.
It's a good one.
From the Mary's bosom, both of them have come. Sordello said, as guardians of the valley, against the serpent that will come anon. Whereupon I, who knew not by what road, turned round about, and closely drew myself, utterly frozen to the faithful shoulders. And once again, Sordello, now descend we meet the grand shades, and we will speak to them. Right pleasant will it be for them to see you. Only 3 steps, I think, that descended and was below, and saw one who was looking only at me, as if he fain wouldn't know me. Already now the air was growing dark, but not so that between his eyes and mine it did not show what it before locked up. Towards me he moved, and I towards him did move. Noble Judge Nino, how it me delighted when I beheld thee not among the damned. No greeting fair was left unsaid between us. Then asked he, how long is it since thou comest over the far waters of the mountain's foot? Oh, said I to him, through the dismal places. I came this morning, and am the first life, albeit the other going thus again. and on the instant my reply was heard. He and Sordello both shrank back from me, like people who are suddenly bewildered.
Mhm.
So they are descending from another, I think, to the valley, and he found this Nino.
Mm.
Nino is Nino Visconti, judge of Gallura. Gallura is a city in Sardinia.
Mm.
He asked them to Dante, when did he arrive in this mountain? So
Mhm.
Dante said he arrived this morning. So they passed a long journey going up the beginning of the mountain,
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
hills of the mountain, on the part of the mountain in this anti-purgatorio. They arrived to the end of the anti-purgatorio. The next canto we will see the door of the purgatory.
Wow.
Isn't
Right. Well, Judge Nino, of course, thinks that Dante came the normal way.
Mm.
And then when Dante says, "Oh," said I to him, "through the dismal places I came this morn, and am in the first life, albeit the other going thus I gain."
So I'm still alive.
Yep.
Yeah, which puts both Nino and Sordello into shock. What?
Mhm. But didn't Sardella know? And
All I can do is quote line
yeah,
62. He and
no,
Sordello
but
both shrank
yeah,
back from me.
mm, obviously he didn't.
He wasn't apparently among that company that saw was the part where Virgil and Dante are walking along with the sun and Dante casting a shadow, sun at their backs, casting a shadow, and they're dismayed at that. But Sardella wasn't in that frame yet, so he didn't get that.
But they
Okay.
don't have a shadow there because of where they are. We talked about that.
I thought they
Maybe
did. I
then,
thought they did have that Dante had a shadow, and this is what
Yeah.
caught.
but
Dante.
there's
Dante
no
did, but there's
source
no
of
sun.
light.
Okay,
The sun is down.
Yeah.
Oh, this is at the moment, yeah.
I think we talked about that.
well, we did. That's why I'm saying I thought that there was something several.
No, I thought we talked about the sun being down.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
I'm
we are
pretty sure we
alive.
did.
Well, there's there
Or maybe the side of the
evening.
mountain that they were on.
Yeah, well, evening was just is just upon them now because they're just right in kind of just entering dusk or sunset here now.
We were talking too about which side of the mountain they were on.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
I'm pretty sure there's no shadow issue here.
well,
Not
not. I'm
100%, but
saying there's none here. I'm just
yeah,
saying
No,
but
here.
before that
I
at
mean,
some
there's
point.
no issue as to whether the shadow was that they didn't recognize him because they couldn't see they didn't recognize he was alive because they couldn't it's not because they couldn't see a shadow. And later, a little bit further on, he tells them that he's still living.
I guess I think it's in Canto 2. Um,
Mhm.
Well, and yeah, that's where the shadow identifies him as being alive.
yeah.
But here, it's not the shadow. He
No, just
tells them he's
words.
alive.
Yeah.
No, I
Lines.
recognize that, Dee. I'm just saying that Sordello, I'm just making that point. Sordello wasn't there when for whatever what reason.
Yeah, I can't remember when Sardello
Dante
arrived.
explained himself to some other group of people in the anti-purgatory that he was still alive, and they were also astonished. I forget, but that was before. But Sordello wasn't there. He wasn't at that moment. Whether it was okay, if it wasn't because of his shadow or something or not, whatever. It's Sordello is just being told at this moment. I'm just making that point.
He was
No,
out of the
it's
room.
not, it's not Sardello. It's not Sardello. Is it Sardello who's being told?
Well,
Yes,
Count
yeah.
Nino and Sordello both shrank back from me. Those two are the two that are being, are suddenly being aware here of
Sardello is with Dante
Oh, right, right.
when
He and
they meet Judge
Sardello.
Nino.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, okay, yeah,
So Sardello is there
right.
when
Sardello doesn't know.
Dante says, I came this morning and am in the first life.
Yeah, I see it now.
And then when he says, am in the first life, on the instant my reply was heard, he and Sardello both shrank back from me like people who were suddenly bewildered.
Yeah.
They were bewildered.
Yeah.
Not like, they were bewildered.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
Oh, all I was saying before I started all this was, didn't he meet Sordello, as I'm trying to find, in Canto 7?
He
So,
did.
Yes.
but why
Yeah.
didn't it come out then that he was alive?
I was looking for him in Canto 7.
Well, I found him in one place, but it doesn't tell me anything, and that's
About
line
where
52. Line 52,
Maybe
Sordello's name
because
come up.
Sardello and Virgil were yakking away.
Yeah,
So
it must have
I was
been.
more interested in Virgil than he was with Dante. That's just a
Yeah.
wild guess on my part.
No, you could be dead right with that one.
And it also could be where the sun was in relation to them.
To them.
Seems to me they're moving around in a space that sometimes has obstacles between themselves and the sun. And of course, if there's an obstacle between themselves and the sun, there's little to no shadow in those instances.
Yeah.
But
And I think you're right there. He was more impressed by Virgil than Dante.
yeah, Virgil's from the hometown. And they're
I
both
am.
poets.
Exactly.
And he doesn't know Dante from, well, I don't think he knew Dante at all.
Yeah.
I can't find where Giardi put Sardello in. He's not where he is in your translation.
No, it's in line 52 as
I know, I was looking, but it's not there.
Yeah.
where he talks
And-
about the sun setting and you can't cross the line.
Yeah, that's
Sordello, I think, really is introduced at the beginning of Canto 7.
Mm.
And he's not new.
Oh, here he is, right at the beginning.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Right, yeah.
He's in 13, but he's also in 52.
Oh, yeah. Line 2. Sordello drew back and said, who are you guys?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, but he's in.
Actually, he was introduced first in Canto 6.
Oh, was he? Oh, wow.
Yeah. He had to have been because the beginning of Canto 7 is after the virtuous glad welcomes had been repeated 3 or 4 times, Sordello drew back and said,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so yeah,
Okay, yeah.
he's with them.
In 6, he's in 74. Oh, Manchurian. I am.
Oh, yes. Sordello. Right.
Yep,
Good
yep.
woman.
And the aged.
Oh, there it is, yeah.
They embraced each other. This is my because I've missed all that, but yeah, he's there.
well, we could probably go through all those lines again.
And right, and he's the troubadour poet. He's the
Sordello.
He was born in Mantua, which was also Virgil's birthplace, and politically involved, and a climber. Into assorted bedroom windows.
Into assorted bedroom. You mean Sordello was a rounder?
To the old Lombard soul. And he's lying down like a crunchant lion. until he finds out that Virgil is a Mantuan, and then he jumps up and he's all chat. So it must be too dark.
Ciardi's note says Dante has given Sardello the same relative position in purgatory and the same majestic dignity he assigns to Farinata and hell. Inferno 10.
Yeah.
There is no entirely satisfactory explanation of Dante's reasons aside from his love poems. Sardello did write some impassioned political pieces. Dante honors his integrity and sincerity. Great political integrity would make Sardello an especially apt guide to the souls of the negligent princes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And quickly reading through Canto 6, I think that Virgil and Sardello was just so excited to meet Dante, not to meet Virgil, that he didn't pay much attention to Dante at all.
Right.
He was
Yeah.
born in the same town where Virgil lived.
That's right. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, they meet Sordello pretty early in Canto 7, and Virgil doesn't even introduce himself until the beginning of Canto 7.
Mm.
Well, he's there in 6, right?
Yeah.
He is there in 6, but Sordello, I don't think knows anything more than that he's from Mantua.
Right. He doesn't recognize Dante or realize.
He doesn't know Dante at all, I don't think.
Yeah. It says high indignation, such as Sordello had shown in this political writing, seems to have had special attraction for Dante, who had his own gift for indignation, and it would moreover honor Virgil, to honor his noble fellow Mantuan.
This is curious because it's a little humbling for Dante. Now, when they were down in limbo and he encountered Homer and Ovid and Horace and Lucan, all those great poets of the past, and they treated him as if he were one of them.
Yeah.
And here's, I guess, an accomplished poet of his time, but certainly not someone on a plane with them who doesn't seem to take notice of Dante at all.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, right at the very beginning, when Sardello first meets Virgil and Dante, and basically Sardello just asks him, "Where are you from?" And Virgil says Mantua. Virgil does not introduce himself as Virgil. He just introduces himself as someone from Mantua.
Yeah, he doesn't introduce himself to Canto 7, line
Yeah, and then
7.
and Sardello just gets really excited to meet another Mantuan.
That's it.
And that carries us for, God, a long time, like 80 lines.
But in Canto 7, verse 3, it starts, I am Virgil.
Yes.
Yes. But there's no mention of Virgil, no mention of Virgil's name in
Canto 6
at all. Just the fact that he's from Mantua. He was from Mantua. And Sardello gets really excited to meet someone from Mantua.
And eternal glory of the Latin race, thinking of him as, a great, what you say, even um, whose tongue made all its greatness clear.
Right. This is after
Yeah.
Virgil introduces himself in Canto
Yeah.
7. Sardello gets even more excited.
He
Yeah.
bows in
Not
front of him.
only are you from Mantua, but you are Virgil.
Yeah, but he bows in front of him. So he appeared and then bowed down his brow, and with humility returned towards him, and where in fierce embrace embraced him. Mhm.
Okay, throw circles.
Sorry, sorry.
And I hate to tell you, Gustav Doré, in his illustration, has a shadow in there.
Oh no, Gustav, you goofed up, man.
Have you got that, Desio?
Someone's got to go back and tell Gustav he needs to make a correction.
You have that, haven't you? Gustav Doré. Here's a illustration,
Somewhere
and there's
I
a
have
yeah, there's a shadow there. But we can't do anything about it.
But you know, Virgil does tell very early in Canto 7, Virgil does tell Sordello that they came through hell.
Yes.
So Sordello must have not put two and two together.
Yeah.
Virgil says, line 22, Canto 7. Through all the circles of the grieving kingdom, he replied, have I come here. A power from heaven moved me, and by it I come. Not for doing, but for not for doing, but for not doing, have I lost sight of the high sun that you desire, and that I knew too late.
But he says I, not we. In other places, he's explained that he's leading Dante. Here he doesn't do that.
He doesn't know. Dante's kind of put to the side, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
Huh. So when does Sardello actually pay any attention to Dante at all?
Just when he shrank, he and Nino shrank back.
It seems so. It seems so. I'm quickly going through Canto 7, and I see no indication that he acknowledged Dante.
Mhm.
By the way, since we are in Canto 7, let me make a little footnote here that I found interesting reading Barolini.
Oh,
And
yes.
remember all the stuff about noses and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, you were going to look that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is kind of, heredity stuff. But one of Dante's big points was that one's moral state of being is not hereditary. That physical characteristics can be inherited, but moral characteristics are not necessarily inherited by those that follow.
So the nose, the reference to these different noses is some way of making that point, that the noses have some relevance to a moral status that he's moral statements or opinion or judgment he's making of these different kings or nobles or whatever.
Yeah, I can't remember. All I remember is that Barolini's making the point that Dante was trying to make the point that moral status is not inherited.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was all just to clarify the fact that Sordello shrank back
Yeah.
when Dante said that he
Oh dear.
He was still in the first life.
Right.
Mm.
So we should read on.
So where was that? Oh. So that was on going back to Canto 8, line 61 through 63.
Did we read? I think I stopped at 36.
No.
You
Oh,
stopped
no.
at 63.
Did
No,
I?
Decio
Okay.
stopped. Decio stopped whatever the line
Oh,
is.
Decio.
Oh,
Okay.
that's your stop, sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
Decio stopped there. For like people who are suddenly bewildered.
Okay.
So whoever was Sylvia, will you read next to read one to Virgilius or whatever that following?
Yeah. One turned to Virgil, and the other turned and called to one who sat up there. Up, Corrado, come see what God out of his grace has willed. Then, when he turned to me, by that especial gratitude you owe to him who hides his primal aim, so that no human mind may find the ford to it. When you return across the wide waves, ask my own Giovanna,
Mm.
there, where the pleas of innocence are answered, to pray for me. I do not think her mother still loves me. She gave up her white veils. Surely, poor woman, she will wish them back again. Through her, one understands so easily how brief in woman is love's fire, when not rekindled frequently by eye or touch. The serpent that assigns villainies their camping place will not provide for her a tomb as fair as would Galura's rooster. So who's Galura's rooster?
Oh, I think we need to
Stop.
parse. I think we
I'm,
need
No.
to.
I'm going to stop there.
Yeah, there's a lot of complications in there.
And that is 81.
Okay, let me read this little note from Hollander, which is actually related to our previous conversation. It says Dante is finally able to answer Sordello's question with regard to his own condition. These are the first words that he, Dante, has spoken since Purgatorio 6, line 51. A fact that underlines the way in which Sordello and Virgil have taken over the stage in these scenes. Dante is once again the star of the drama.
So Nina.
Okay.
But, but what is being said about Sardell or Curada's wife? What is being said there?
So
Yeah.
who's making that speech?
Corrado,
Okay.
Curado.
Malaspina.
Well, I think Sardello,
No,
it's either Nino or Judge Nino or Sardello says, and the other, one to Virgilius and the other turned to one who sat there crying, up Corrado. So Corrado is apparently just seated behind them.
Yeah.
And they want to introduce him to this remarkable apparition here of Dante.
I don't know that it's clear, but it seems like it must be Sordello who turns to Virgil and Nino
Yeah.
who turns to Corrado.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Sordello
One to
has a really
Virgilius. There you go. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's one to the other turned to Virgil. One to Virgil. One to Corrado.
Because it's only when Nino asks about Dante that Dante gets a chance to say something.
Yeah.
To his
Mhm.
daughter, yeah.
There you go.
His daughter
Yeah.
Giovanna. And
There you
so
go.
this Nino left a widow, no?
Right.
Her mother. And
Yes.
her mother was using white robes, white vests,
Mm.
because at the time the mourning was not black as today, it
That's
was
right.
used white. And this remind me of Hamlet. Um, Hamlet, the father, was killed by Claudio, and his wife Gertrude married Claudio. Is a similar situation here.
Now, is it really his wife, Nino's wife, or is it his daughter? Because he then says, "I do not think her mother loves me more since she has laid her
She
wimple."
left him. She left him because no, she forgot him
She forgot
because
about it.
he was died.
Yeah.
So he espoused another guy.
Yeah.
Giovanna, I think, in line 71 is his daughter.
Yeah.
His daughter,
Yeah.
yeah, his daughter.
But
Yeah.
Giovanna is like Hamlet, the son.
Yeah. Yeah.
The position like
oh, right. And I mean, but it's just about how women,
Yeah.
a woman, how so how brief in woman is love's fire when not rekindled frequently by eye or touch. And you've probably got different
the
translations.
fire is extinguished.
Mhm.
No more
Oh,
touch, no more.
This is a jab at women.
yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah. Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like that he's up there watching what she's doing. He's up to date.
I think he may be just guessing.
Don't
I'm
know.
not sure. I'm not sure this is based upon anything but cultural prejudice.
Well, then he'd have asked him to mention his wife as well as his daughter, surely. My family.
Yeah.
Let's see. When thou shalt be beyond the waters wide, tell my Giovanna that she pray for me. Where answer to the innocent is
Is
made.
made.
I
So
do not think her mother loves
his
me
daughter,
more,
his daughter.
since she has laid aside her wimple white,
And white.
which she unhappy needs must wish again.
Mm.
That's another ambiguous thing.
Yeah.
Why does she need her wimple again?
So wimple, is that some indication either that she was married
It's
or was
leaving. I think it's
she a widow?
I think they used to wear a white wimple when they were widows.
Yeah, okay, that
Yeah.
sounds right to me. Yeah.
yeah, but then it say which she unhappy needs must wish again.
Is she a
Sounds
widow
like she
again?
got married and her second husband died.
Mm.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Maybe.
Yeah, but then, and what about this, the latter part of this quotation? The serpent, because you probably got different things. The serpent that assigns the Milanese their camping place will not provide for her a tomb as fair as would Galurus.
No, this is about the coat of arms of one family is a serpent, and the
Oh,
coat of arms of the other family is a cock, is a
oh, right.
Rooster. Yep.
Oh,
rooster. Yeah.
that's what it is. Oh, right.
Okay.
So let me read this one note from Hollander. It says Nino's unnamed wife was Beatrice d'Este. Sometime after his death in 1296, she stopped wearing widow's vestments, which featured white bands drawn around the head, her wimple. And she eventually married after a previous betrothal a second husband, Galeazzo Visconti of Milan, in June of 1300. The misery that awaits her is to share the exile of her new husband because of the expulsion of the powerful Visconti family from Milan in 1302.
Please use the serpent as a coat of arms.
Okay, so her second husband didn't die, but she will be in mourning because they have lost their position in life and
Oh,
in exile.
Mhm. Yeah, well,
oh, he's saying rather than his more worthier arms, the cockerel, Gallo of the Visconti of Pisa and Gallura. Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. Oh, yeah.
This does you remember back in the Inferno in book 10 when he's talking to Farinata and this other soul pops up and he asks about his son and Dante hesitates and he assumes his son must be dead now and
Oh,
Farinata
yeah.
says to him, as things get close to us, we can no longer see them. But he seems to be seeing what's going on here,
Mm.
or I think, or maybe
Yes,
they're still seeing the future.
Mm.
yes. Maybe that's one of the advantages of being in purgatory.
Oh, but wasn't there something that you couldn't see the present, but you could see the future? What was it?
Yeah,
There was something
That was
odd.
Inferno, wasn't it?
That
yeah.
was in the Inferno. Yeah.
Something
Inferno.
odd. What is it? You can see the future, but you
But
can't.
but then as things happen, you don't see them.
No,
Yeah,
It
I know
it
that's
kind
so.
of doesn't make sense
no.
because if you can see the future, then when it gets close, you should be able to remember what you saw
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
It's not entirely coherent, but that
Mm.
is what Dante has one of the figures in.
well, maybe that's one of the punishments of hell is the loss of memory.
Mm.
Well, they are under a little bit of stress in the Inferno,
Mhm.
and stress does not make one's immediate perceptions very perceptive. That's my guess.
But
Right.
also, you've got the river Lethe, or what's it called, where you forget?
Yeah, the Lethe River. Forget
Yeah,
it.
Oh,
that
yeah.
The river of
when you get up
oblivion.
at the top.
Oblivion. Yeah.
As well. It's a bit like a jigsaw. The bits of it tie up.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So Nino. Oh, you Nino.
Yeah, read on here.
Mm.
Is that 82 or 85 that you were, was it 81 or 84 that you left off, Sylvia?
No, started 82.
Okay. In this wise spake he, with a stamp impressed upon his aspect of that righteous zeal, which measurably burneth in the heart. My greedy eyes still wandered up to heaven, still to that point where the slowest are the stars, even as a wheel the nearest to its axle. And my conductor, son, what dost thou gaze at up there? And I to him, all those three torches with which this hither pole is all on fire. And he to me, the four resplendent stars thou sawest this morning are down yonder low, and these have mounted up to where those were. As he was speaking to himself, Sordello drew him and said, Lo, there is our adversary, and pointed with his finger to look thither. Upon the side on which the little valley no barrier hath, a serpent was, perchance the same which gave to Eve the bitter fruit. Twixt grass and the flowers came on the evil streak, turning at times its head about, and licking its back like to a beast that smooths itself. I'll just stop there.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So I want to go, I want to mention the fact that, is it not curious that, first of all, is it Nino that's asking Dante that when he gets home, please tell my daughter Giovanni to pray for me?
It is, yes.
Yeah.
And then he goes into this rant against his wife, which seems very un-purgatory like.
Yeah.
And perhaps that rant against his wife is actually a what generate no I'm going too far. What generates the serpent in the sky? The serpent is symbolic of the idea that even though some of these people are in purgatory, they are still struggling
Okay.
with earthly emotions.
Yeah.
So in the morning, they saw 3 stars. Now they are seeing 4 stars. This 3 plus 4 makes 7. Is the 7 theological virtues, according to something.
Okay.
The seven theological what?
Virtue.
Virtues.
Virtues.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but I read something about that.
Excellent.
Okay.
But let's see what the notes.
Well, then that if those are the seven theological virtues, apparently having more virtues is easier in the morning than at night.
Mm.
That's crazy talk on my part.
Well, just going back to your point about the slam, I mean, I wonder if it just is not more, not necessarily a slam against women, it's maybe just a lament, a sort of sad wisdom that's come to this fellow. Is that he says, when he talks about through her full easily is comprehended how long how long in woman lasts the fire of love, if eye or touch do not relight it often. And then this other, I'm not sure I can make out what exactly he's meaning here, but so fair a hatchment will not make for her the viper marshalling the Milanese afield as would have made Galura's cock. So fair a hatchment. I'm not sure what that refers to. I'm not sure what a hatchment is.
The Galura's cock is Nino's coat of arms, is it not?
Yeah, but did
Yeah.
we say that the serpent was the other coat of arms, or the man that she's chosen?
Nino is the roster.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the other and the other ones. But then do they go on? Yeah, she chose. Yeah, it's a symbolic way of saying she's chosen another coat of arms over his coat of arms.
Mhm.
Well, she's not faithful to his memory, as they would say.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think he's lamenting or sad about the fact that she didn't, remember him longer. And I'm looking here at this Norton translation. He translates instead of hatchment, he uses the word sepulture, which would be like a tomb.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So fair a tomb will not make for her the viper. So in a way, the viper marshaling the Milanese afield is what would have made Galura's cock. I guess that's meaning sort of a watch, kind of a threat or something like that. She's not, I guess I'm really struggling with this. So I guess it's I think he's not putting women down, or womankind down so much as sad over the fact that this woman, and maybe he is making a kind of a generalized statement here about women. It's sort of like if love is not present to somehow physically respond for the physical engagement, then basically they forget quickly, and it's not like it's not like they're engaged that well with anybody, I suppose.
Well, here Hollander mentions a line from the Aeneid.
Okay,
A woman is ever a fickle and changeful thing.
okay.
Okay.
But yeah, but I mean but in my translation, it's about her. It's about which tomb she finally rests in. You know, she chooses the other guy. But you know, in
Oh,
Ireland,
there you go.
in
Yeah,
There you go.
in Ireland, um, you know, for you guys who've been through a romantic proposal, in Ireland, what men used to say, do you want to be do you want to be buried with our ones? You know, meaning that you
yeah,
want to be buried with his
yeah, exactly. I think he's making that kind of. He said, I would have expected that she would have been buried with me after
yeah.
our marriage. We have a child together, exactly, and that's I think he's sad about that, and he's also saying about the Aeneid. So well, she's so fickle. She's done. She kind of dumped my memory. Now she's gonna be married. She's gonna be buried with this other guy. This
Hmm.
the Milanese, whoever she's gonna be married to.
So there you go.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, in my perverse way, I'm going, the guy's in purgatory. Why is this
Yeah.
bothering him? He's got better things to do than to sit around complaining about his ex-wife.
You know, but you know,
Mm.
that's the whole, you know how we wonder. I hear people saying, what happens, you know, if you're married to, you know, been married several times, what happens in eternity? I mean,
yeah.
kind of,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, people are still a bit annoyed. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Yeah.
not all, um,
But here we have an allusion to Hamlet. Frailty, thy name is woman.
Frailty, thy name is woman. Yes, yes.
yeah.
Even before Hamlet
And
was written.
on that note, I will point out that it is 33 minutes after the hour.
Okay. Where do you
And
want to
so,
start
well,
next week?
I
Oh,
think we will start right where we are now because
81.
we're gonna move into the serpent going. Yeah,
Yeah. There you
80,
go. Yep. Yep.
81 is good.
Yep.
And
Good.
did
I have
Dee
things I want to say about that allusion to Virgil, but
yeah.
okay,
not right
very
now.
good. Well, make a note to yourself.
Okay.
Okay.
John will remember.
You know,
Okay.
like here, I'll make a silly remark. Like a woman, the memory is fickle.
Okay.
Take care of the
Shocked.
serpent. Take care of the
Shocked.
serpent.
Shocked.
Of course, I would say in the human being, the memory is fickle.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I really like the Hamlet thing. That really makes a lot of
Mm.
sense. Seeing we've recently gone through Hamlet.
Yeah. Thank you all.
Okay.
Everybody
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
take care and see some of you tomorrow in
Okay.
Ulysses.
Yep.